My name, as he said, is Tamatha Lene, and I will be your MC for this evening. And now I'd like for you to please join me in welcoming to the stage Sheikh Abdi Rahman and Imam Sheikh Saad for the invocation.
اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلقه خلق الإنسان من علق اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم نون والقلم وما يسطرون نون والقلم وما يسطرون صدق الله العظيم.
Now tonight is a special night for many reasons. We're here to celebrate NoKET, but we're also here to celebrate and acknowledge the coming together of 3 countries and 3 communities in order to lift up the women and children of Kenya through NoKET. Those 3 countries are, of course, Kenya, Somalia, and the United States. Here to sing the national anthems for Kenya and the United States, please welcome Akini Aluoch, and to sing the national anthem for Somalia, Adar Kahin.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail by the twilight's lights gleaming, whose broad stripes and breasters through the perilous fight? Oh, the ramparts we watched while so gallantly gleaming. Oh, yet baraka wetu akiwenga na mlinzi na tukae na undugu, amani na raha tupate na ustawi. Amkeni ndugu zetu.
habeen wanaagsan. anigu kadis baa la igu dhiibay kuma soo talagelin, laakiin wixii dhiig loo ka cabaa la yidhi waan afku man ka qaadaya. Soomaaliyey tooso tooso isku tiirsaday hadba kiina taag daranay taageera weligiin.
Place their home. Now, why are we here this evening? My remarks are going to be very brief because there are so many dignitaries. I'm the lowest guy on the food chain tonight. There's so many special people tonight here. And first I want to acknowledge those of us who've traveled from Kenya, who are the trustees and the government delegation. And as a matter of protocol, I would say apologies if we make some protocol errors in recognizing folks, but I first want to recognize Honorable Mohammed Elmi, who is the head of the delegation. He's the Minister for Northern Kenya and Arid Lands. And for those of you who may not have traveled to Kenya, we're mostly talking about almost 80% of the Kenyan geographical map, so it's a significant proportion of the country. Also, we have the Permanent Secretary to the Ministry of Northern Kenya and Arid Lands, Mr. Lawrence Lenayapa. And we also have members of parliament who are traveling with them. And Honorable Joseph Lokuyot is here. And Honorable Joseph Lokuyot spent many years in the US and did both his undergrad and grad school in the East Coast. So he's back, I guess, home. So this is his second home. We also would like to recognize Honorable Mohammed Sirat, who's also part of the delegation. Honorable Mohammed Sirat. Thank you. Honorable Mohammed Sirat represents Wajir South constituency. And there are many Minnesota Somalis who are from his constituency. So we want to thank them for coming out in support of Honorable Sirat and being with us this evening. We also have, we are so grateful to have the ambassador, the Kenyan ambassador to the United States of America with us this evening, Ambassador Elkanah Odembo. We are so proud to call Ambassador Odembo our representative to the United States. I have never seen any more exemplary global citizen than Elkanah Odembo. He exemplifies really what diplomacy is all about, and we really thank him. He's been to Minnesota so many times. Every time we ask of him, he steps up, so we really want to thank him. We also have the chairman Ibrahim Hussein, who's a trustee of NoKET. At yesterday's pre-launch event, someone referred on Chairman Ibrahim as the father of education in Kenya. And really, that's probably the best title for him. He's been a teacher to many of us in the audience. We also have other trustees that I'll quickly introduce and other government representatives. We have Mr. David Seeley, who's also here, representing Ministry of Higher Education. We have Mr. Habat Sheikh Abdi, who's also here, President Minister of Education. And we have Ms. Amina Mohammed, who's also with UNICEF and also a trustee of NoKET. And we also have the coordinator for NoKET in Kenya, Mr. Patrick Oletwala. I'm hoping that I haven't left anyone out. Fatima arrived? Thank you very much. I'm so sorry. One of the NoKET trustees, Fatima Hirsi. And we really thank her for being here. Fatima had logistical challenges in coming, and she just arrived today about 1 o'clock, so we really thank her for coming. And we have Mr. Abdul Wahid Bariq, who is an attorney, practicing attorney in Kenya. And we really want to thank all of them, all the trustees who've taken their time to travel to the United States to help us launch NoKET USA. We really want to thank them. As has been said before, the reason why we gathered here is because, first of all, we all care about education. Because many of us are where we are today because somebody stepped up for us and made sure that we have access to quality education. Now, why the launch and why here and why Minnesota? Obviously, many of you may know that Minnesota is home to the largest, one of the largest East African communities in the country. We have the largest Somali population in the United States, and we have a sizable Kenyan population. Obviously, many Somalis, after fleeing Somalia and the collapse of Somalia, spent many, many years in Kenya, particularly in the Kenyan north. So they do have a vested interest and a stake in education in Kenya. Many of their children are now going to schools in the counties that NoKET supports. So Northern Kenya Education Trust is a private non-profit trust that a group of Kenyan entrepreneurs, philanthropists, and government officials got together to form it to provide access to quality education. And we as the Kenyan diaspora would like to offer our support to them, and that's why they're here. So I'm going to end my brief remarks at that, and I would like to call back our MC to continue with the rest of the evening. We're planning to serve, dinner is being served. We want you to enjoy, we want you to network, and we want to celebrate as much as we also launch NoKET. So thank you very much, everyone, for coming.
Good evening, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. It's wonderful to be here this evening. My job today is to, first of all, welcome the delegation that has traveled with Minister Elmi from Kenya. Dr. Siad has already introduced them, so he took my job. But it's a formidable delegation. I think the fact that the minister has traveled not only with members of parliament, but also with trustees of the NoKET gives you an indication of how serious an initiative NoKET is. Waziri, thank you for making the journey to come to launch NoKET in the United States. We also have, I think we had in the room a delegation that is also visiting Minneapolis from Eldoret. I don't know if they're in. If they're here, I'd like to recognize them as well. Perhaps they haven't arrived. So to the minister, the delegation, waheshimiwa, trustees, karibuni sana Minnesota na Marekani pia. I would like at this point to also congratulate and thank Dr. Siad, who was here before me, for taking the initiative and the responsibility of making this particular day. I know he has worked with a number of people, but Dr. Siad got very little notice to organize this event today. And it's amazing that it has come together so well. There's this many people coming together. Education, we don't need to tell you about how important that is. Education, particularly for our children in northern Kenya, northeastern and northern Kenya, who have been on the margins and marginalized for a long time. I don't need to tell you again how important it is. So again, Siad, thank you so much for running with this initiative and making this launch here today happen. Congressman Keith Ellison, on behalf of all of us gathered here today, thank you so much for being with us this evening. Thank you for being a good friend of Africa. Thank you for being a good friend of Kenya. Congressman Keith Ellison is among the first congressmen who I met when I first came to Washington. In fact, he sent word out that he wanted to meet with me, and so I obliged. And since then, we've continued to have a wonderful relationship with him and his staff. We are looking forward to his visiting the region, Kenya, possibly Somalia as well, South Sudan, that Horn region, later this year. He is representing the 5th District here, has represented it extremely well. He made time in his busy schedule to come and launch with us NoKET, and it gives me great pleasure to invite the congressman to come and say a few things before he has to run off. Congressman Keith Ellison. Karibu sana.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Karimu, welcome. It's wonderful to be here with everybody. Mr. Ambassador, it's particularly a pleasure for me to have you here in Minnesota and all of the delegation from Eldoret. You should know, and as you know very well, Kenya and Minnesota have a very strong and enduring relationship. Minneapolis and Eldoret have a sister city relationship. And we were so proud of Minnesotans and Kenyans who organized themselves together to make sure that Eldoret could get a fire truck, which was shipped from here to there. And so now, when Eldoret has the peril of a fire, a little bit of Minnesota is there to help them put it out. And this is a good thing. And I also want to say that when northern Kenya is having challenges, when they are struggling to make sure that the young people of that region have a quality education, we here in Minnesota, as friends of Kenya, are going to be there to help solve that problem as well. And I'm so honored to be here at this NoKET dinner, and I do pray that we do well in terms of to help raise resources and then also galvanize ourselves into a political force to help make sure that our government understands how important northern Kenya is to us here in Minnesota. I tell you, I often say to people that if you're not at the table, if you're not there sitting at the table, you might find yourself on the menu. And what this means is that you've got to be engaged and participating in the process, or you may find that if you're absent, your interests may be divided up and devoured by somebody else. And you should know that in America, we are a nation of immigrants. We're so proud of people who leave their country, their language, their culture behind and come to join this American family. It's part of the American story. Many of you might find your roots abroad, but when you come to America, you are as American as anybody The fact is that all Americans may look to some other part of the world. We have our feet planted firmly on American soil, but if you're Irish American, you may be concerned about what's going on in Northern Ireland. If you're Jewish American, you may be concerned about what's going on in Israel. And if you are Kenyan American, there is absolutely nothing wrong with you being concerned about things in Kenya, even though your national identity is American. In fact, we all expect it. We expect it and count on it. And if Kenyan Americans and others like myself and others who care about Kenya won't step up to advocate for the Kenyan-American relationship, no one will. And if no one does, we're going to get a poor result. So this means that it's incumbent upon us. The job is on our shoulders to make sure that our State Department, the United States Aid and Development, the Department of Defense, Department of Agriculture, the United States Congress, and everybody in between knows that for us in this room, the U.S.-Kenyan relationship and the welfare of people in Kenya is dear to us, important to us, and we will write the letters, we will make the phone calls, we will send the emails, we will make the visits to Washington, D.C. to make sure that that relationship is strong and is enduring, because that is the way we ensure that that relationship is going to be successful. And I also want to add while I have the microphone that I have had the pleasure of visiting Kenya several times. It is absolutely a beautiful country. If you haven't had the chance to go there, I urge you to visit. It's beautiful. It's highly, like America, it's highly diverse. You can go to Mombasa, be out on the water, and the water is beautiful, beautiful blue. And you can go inland and go to Kisumu, where our president Barack Obama finds his roots. And when I was driving in Kisumu near the lake, the big lake Victoria, they got a big sign and it said, "This is Obama country." And I fell out laughing and I said, "Wow, this is beautiful." And I snapped a picture of it and sent it on to the White House. But the point is that America has bodies of water that it sits on too. We have the inland hinterland as well. And in Kenya, in the northern area, it is an area that I have also had the privilege of visiting. I went to Dadaab, which is the world's largest refugee camp today. It's the world's largest refugee camp, and it was originally designed, as many of you know, for 90,000 people. When I went there, there was 300,000 people there, and what I saw is, and now there's about 600,000. I was leading up to the fact that when I was there was about 300,000. That number has doubled only in a few years, and people are coming across the border every day because of the madness that Al-Shabaab keeps up in Somalia. We pray for the day that Somalia is stable, for the day that Somalia is free, for the day that Somalians can stand up and proclaim their nation for the good and the sake of Somalians, where they will be able to guard their own coast and have a coast guard that can protect Somali's coast, where they will be able to protect their own country and people can start businesses and live in freedom and prosper and grow. But until that day, we know that areas like northern Kenya that are receiving Somalis have to be stable as well. We have to have the resources to educate the people there, because the answers to tomorrow's and today's questions are locked up in the minds of those young people who yearn for an education in northern Somalia. So I just want to say that you will find me dedicated to this cause of NoKET. I want to thank you for leaning into this issue and coming together to put your dollars, your dimes, your creativity, and your energy into strengthening this region of Kenya. And I want to let you know that if we will organize ourselves, and if we will come together and be united, and if we will work hard and build a political coalition for this relationship, it will benefit the people of northern Kenya, and they will be able to give the gifts that God has blessed them with to the whole world. It is our job to unlock the genius of the children of northern Kenya with our contribution to their education. And if you're ready to do that, I'm ready to do that with you. May God keep you and bless you. Thank you very much.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I greet you in the Islamic tradition. Tonight is a great pleasure and it's an honor for us to be in the company of the Minister of Northern Kenya, Mr. Ilmi, and his delegation. We are also honored to have the Ambassador of Kenya here with us tonight. Here we also have an organization that has for a long time been friend of this Somali community. But before I start on the award, we want to give the first East African Annual Award. I want to call here some of the elders and community members who agree with us and some of them have made the decision to give this award to this organization. The organization we are talking about and we are giving the award to is UCare. And I want to call here Gita and Hillary. In here we are on first name basis with them. And since Somalis came to the United States and to Minnesota, they have been there for us, and all the community respects them and likes the work they do for the community. They help organizations like us, they help with events, they help with many things in our community. So please come and get the award.
Our commitment in the community, we talk about the fact that our shareholders are those of you in the community. Our health plan has the largest Somali population and East African population of any of the health plans operating in Minnesota, and we take that responsibility very seriously. We are so heartened because of your recognition of our work. When you work every day to do a good job, you're never quite sure if other people are recognizing your work. So today we thank you very much. This is an absolutely beautiful award that you should all look at. It's and how it's laid out. So thank you.
I want to minister. Yes. Our Congressman Keith Ellison is also receiving a gift from Kenya, and the minister himself will give it to him. You all know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Asante sana.
You already made your speech.
I must first of all say thank you very much to the organizers, to the dignitaries that have come to this session, to the dignitaries that have accompanied us from our country, to the ladies and the gentlemen that have taken their evening out to come and be with us. I think I also want to thank very sincerely and express my gratitude to Siad and team, because this is not only exciting to us, but it's our first launch overseas as NoKET. We really thank you for giving us friends beyond our borders, and also for the hospitality. We've been taken care of, we've been driven around, things that we don't actually get in our country. Thank you very much. And we really look forward to giving back this gratitude if you ever come to Kenya. Our way of giving back this gratitude will be to let you know personally one of the girls who are on the program. So if you ever step in Nairobi, please let us know and step at our secretariat, because we will take you to a school of your choice to meet a girl, any of the 433 girls that are on the program, so that you can have a personal one-to-one discussion on what change this scholarship brings to their lives. And I really look forward to the day that I will be able to have that pleasure to introduce you to one of these beautiful girls. I'm overwhelmed, I must say, for the simple fact that the people of Minnesota have really received us and have given us our first opportunity to sell our mission abroad. What are we all about as NoKET? We are all about educating girls and boys who might not otherwise see the future with the literacy and numeracy and the requirements that the development world requires today. It is the purpose of NoKET to try and increase the number of young women and men who are actually getting access to professional education at higher education. The challenge we have is to get girls from primary school into secondary schooling. The girls you see pictured at the back of your program, I don't know whose story I should tell you about. There is beautiful Shukriya there. There is Nasin, who is in India pursuing her higher education. There is Batul there, who is still in secondary schooling. There is young and beautiful Amina, who leads her class in Alliance Girls, despite having her parents as herders. She will never see them till she finishes school because of the fact that they are not near any town. There is Hodan Abdi there, who is actually doing a Bachelor of Commerce degree in the University of Nairobi, having benefited from the scholarship program. I don't think her future would have taken that path if she did not get the little support that we have given her through NoKET. Our program has been running since 2006. So far, we have reached about 433 girls. We have 8 girls in university. And I think with these girls, the future of Northern Kenya is much brighter. We do appreciate the role these girls play, because you know very well the importance of education for girls and women. It directly affects the surroundings of a home. It increases your opportunity to take control of your family size. If you go through secondary education, you are definite sure you'll start childbirth late. Not by family planning or anything else. You hit 19 years and therefore you start childbirth at a later age. It gives you safe motherhood because you're older, your body is much more prepared, and you have crossed the most important bridge in your life, secondary education, which I believe is a do or die level for any human being that wants to progress in this world of today. These girls actually, if we had the chance, we would have brought 1 or 2 of them to come and talk to you, because they have very moving stories, real moving in the sense that you can actually feel so inspired by their stories and to have been part of them. I always say when I'm so tired, I get a high from talking to one of these girls. A real high, much more than any substance you can ever take. Because you actually look at these girls and say, wow, she went through this, she survived, and she's in school, and she takes it in her stride, and she has a potential to be somebody else in the future. I want to tell you the story of Amina Adan. She is in Form 3 in Alliance Girls. This girl, when I encountered her in Form 1, she was very tiny. You could tell she was malnourished. And I asked her, Amina, how did you end up in the scholarship program? And she said, my parents sent me to some family friends in town to just go and help out my auntie. But because my auntie was very kind to me, she sent me to the nearby primary school. But I knew that was the farthest I would ever go if I actually managed to finish schooling. But when I heard about the scholarship and some few friends that actually went through the scholarship program, I developed a determination to be one of the girls to be taken for this scholarship. With this zeal and determination, not only did she pass and get the scholarship, but she was the best girl in her district. Imagine no parents supporting you, not having a study place, not having lights to study with, but just the motivation that somebody else will carry on if you just did your best. That's what took Amina to Alliance Girls. Alliance Girls is the best school you can go to in Kenya. She sits with kids of ministers, with permanent secretaries. And the beauty about it is when we were interviewing her for this documentary, we asked her, Amina, so how is school? And she said, here, my report forms speak for me. She's an A student. She's getting physics A, biology A, maths A. It's very unlikely. Even our home-coached kids don't get that kind of grade. And what that tells you is there is a lot of determination in these kids if they're given just a little bit of support. What does it really cost? $1,000 per year in the best school you can be in Kenya. That's all it costs for a year. For 4 years, it costs $4,000. Sounds expensive, but it's a life-changing future for this kid. That's where the future doctors, the future permanent secretaries, the future county governors, I understand a lot of people here from Kenya are going back to take up slots back at home. These are the girls we are grooming to come and give you a challenge there so that you run back with your dollars. Yeah? So, and this is only possible if she gets $4,000 a year, that $4,000 to take her through her secondary education. These girls have been very, very inspiring, as I told you, and addictive if you know them. What they have started last year is an alumni to help each other go through the foundation that they have lost in primary schooling. They coach each other during the holidays. They mentor each other to stay on and survive the conditions they find in these very new environments. Most of the best performing schools in Kenya are strongly Christian oriented. That's what Fatima and I went through. You go to mass at 6 and you go to church and assemblies in church. And you risk your father pulling you back from school because he thinks you're being baptized a different name. And with this now having not the parents nearby and the parents not understanding the value of this education, they're actually supporting each other to stay on because 4 years is a very short period. And surely I think we really have a responsibility to keep them in school as long as they need so that they finish. 4 years is a very short time. My appeal to you is I hope that we have touched you to change the life and to virtually, even though you're far away in Minnesota, to adopt at least one of these girls, if not about 10 of them. The pictures you see are initially girls from northeastern Kenya. But this year, we are proud to tell you, up from the 3 counties that we were handling in the previous scholarship program, we have gone to 14 counties, which go all the way to Narok. And so the cohort we have just taken in this year for first year Form 1s come all the way from Turkana, West Pokot, Tana River, and a number of other counties because we have tried this and it brings a lasting to the future. And therefore, thinking about the cost of illiteracy, I think we need to change the future of these kids because illiteracy is not an option in this day and age. I don't think it's an option for anybody. It is, I actually tell people it's better to die now than to be illiterate in 20 years because the world has completely changed. Everything is on computer, everything, information is not actually accessible to illiterate people coming 20 years from now. So you might as well just go otherwise because you will be completely deaf and dumb in a world that is too fast for you and actually just increases your marginalization. So I do hope you'll join us today in trying to change the lives of these girls, to accompany them to the 4 years of education. We are planning also to, in a big way, include boys, but at a later stage. We will not lie to you, we are a young institution. We are just 1 year old. We need to establish our systems, our accountabilities, our structure in place. And therefore, taking both boys and girls is a bit too much for us now. So we do plan to take girls for the first years because of strategic reasons, but then we do plan to take boys at a later stage when the system falls in place and becomes automated and therefore very easy to do so. But for girls, we can't wait any longer because when we started the scholarship program, we realized that for 15 years, not a single girl from all the secondary schools in northeastern province had accessed a university degree. 15 years is a long time. The implications will be felt real soon because a 15-year gap in in university education for a total big region means a 15-year gap in professional people, in human capital for that part of the country, and also for the future of a lot of young kids in that region. Our new constitution offers a devolved governance system. It requires serious human capital to go back to the districts, to the counties. Surely there'll be no women. They will just be recycling some few of us who have been in the system, Fatma, myself, maybe 5, 6 of us, if we're interested. And because of the nature of our families, we live in Nairobi, we will not be able to go and serve back in Mandera, where is my home. So we actually have a big gap in terms of human capital and all the reason why we need to invest. And that's why we are requesting the diaspora here, if you really want to help us change our country, to make it corruption-free, to make it stronger in terms of a better institution, to make sure that there is fairness and justice, equity, please invest in these girls because the returns are the highest, as you would do in a business that you're trying to invest in. My last part is assurance about accountability for what we're raising. We're not raising money for any politics. That we can assure you. We're not raising a coin for any political reasons. We come from different parties, all of us. We are related to politicians, some of us. We support politicians. But we are not going to give any cent of this to any politician or any politician's forum. That I can assure you. We want to assure you that this money, the way we work now, is every cent we get, except for the coordinator's cost. It goes as a clean check to the school. We don't touch it as money. UNICEF gives about $100,000 annually to this institution. It goes straight. It goes straight to the schools because the school invoices are brought to the office, the checks are prepared and given, and the accounts are closed. The coordinator doesn't touch a coin of this. And as long as we are alive, we are hoping to be as credible as possible, as transparent as possible, and we will assure you that's the way that money will be used. So thank you very much for your audience. Thank you very much for receiving us, and we look forward to a very long friendship. We invite you to our country, and I do promise that you will visit a girl if you get in touch with us. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Irshad has ambushed me with the invitation to come to the podium. But all the same, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to water down what Amina has said. I would have said equally what she has said. We have worked together in this program for quite a long time, and I want to let you know that you may not be able to understand the gravity of what we are talking about in terms of girls' education unless you are on the ground. When we talk about gross enrollment rate, participation rate, transition rate, and completion rates below 25%. We are talking of an entire generation of girls not being useful members of their communities. We are talking of an entire generation of girls getting wasted. And that is why NoKET was born, to be able to fill in the gap that maybe the government may not have been able to accomplish. And as we gather here this evening, our noble cause is to be able to enable the girls of northern Kenya be able to access education to their fulfillment and to reach their desired potential. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. That was the slogan, I think, of the President of the United States back in 2008, and I want to echo that. If we put our hands together, if we put our resources together, yes, we can. We can give those girls in northern Kenya, all the way from Turkana, West Pokot, Samburu, Baringo, Narok, Kajiado, Tana River, Wajir, Mandera, Garissa, an opportunity in life so that they can be useful members of their communities. Like Amina said, we are going into a devolved system of government where we'll be required to manage our own affairs, our own resources. But as it is now, there are very few ladies that we can rely on to go back and do that job. I only know of Amina, Fatuma Hirsi, and a few others. And like she said, they have their roots in Nairobi. They may not even want to go back to Garissa, Wajir, and Mandera. But with this noble initiative and with time, we will be able to realize that. I want to thank each one of you for being here tonight. I want to thank each one of you for your hospitality in welcoming us to Minnesota. And we want to assure you that we stand up for the girls of Northern Kenya. I want to assure you once again as a ministry, of course, coming from the Ministry of Education, we have various intervention programs for the vulnerable groups, but we don't have any specific program for girls. Amina knows that, and I think Mheshimiwa Ilmi also knows that. We have some interventions which cover the entire country, but nothing specific to Northeastern. We will support this trust, and I want to bring the commitment of the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education to support this trust in whatever way that we can, so that the girls of Northern Kenya can feel as proud as other girls of Kenya. I think it's not asking for too much from our people, both within the country and without, to get committed to the livelihood of girls. We know our life and our livelihood and our systems depend on dependable women as a community in Northern Kenya. As men, we go herding, we go looking for this and we go looking for that. But at the end of the day, when we get back home, we get back to our mothers, to our wives, to our daughters, and what have you. So we need this cadre of people to be well informed academically. We need this cadre of ladies to be well informed so that they can also step in and be the pillars of their families. But as it is now, the situation is not encouraging.
Pat says, our elevator speech, the world's largest shipper of English-speaking books to the African continent. And more importantly, we've built relationships and understand the value of partnering with wonderful organizations like NoKET. And we have plans to continue our close connections with Kenya and shipments of containers of books of 20,000 books per container, where for 50 cents a book, we can send a book to a child in Kenya, into northern Kenya, and partner in these wonderful efforts to bring education to the children of Africa. So thank you so much for letting us partner with this organization, and we encourage all of you here, if there's any way that Books for Africa connect with you, where we can connect and get books to Kenya, to the boys and girls that need this educational opportunity, to please reach out. It's a simple name for an organization with just a simple mission, and it's the same mission as NoKET, which is we need to educate the children of Africa. They are our future. Thank you.
This NoKET vision, as you've heard from Amina, there are many people who have been working with a girl child in northern Kenya, in northeastern Kenya for a number of years. And Amina has just walked us through that. But she has also told us something that's really distressing. 15 years, not a single girl from northern Kenya going to the university. It is a serious issue. The vision of NoKET is to create a vehicle, a big vehicle that will make sure that not again will girls in northern Kenya not have an opportunity to get a decent education. And that vision of creating this vehicle that we are now calling NoKET is Waziri Elmi. I have known him for many years because we worked together in the NGO sector and the civil society sector for many, many, many years. It's an example of the Kenya we are looking forward to, the Kenya we want. Ministers who are extremely accessible, ministers who don't care about protocol and all that, bureaucracy. His concern is to get things done. So NoKET, as you have heard from the representative, Mr. Hubbard, thank you very much for coming and representing the PS. So the Ministry of Education is fully behind this. The Ministry for Northern Development is fully behind this. The idea was to create a vehicle, an institution that is housed, is midwifed in the government, and then eventually it is left to develop a life of its own, run as an institution that stands by itself with no government interference, etc., etc. And this is the vision that Minister Elmi came up with. And that's why we are talking about this particular organization called NoKET. But in his office, he has a permanent secretary. And for those of you who know the way things go, ministers are politicians, as you know. And I'm really happy that Amina has brought out the fact that this is not about any political party, because some people, when they heard that Mohammed Elmi was coming here, they said, oh, iyo ni siasa. No, it is not siasa. And she put it very well. We have people here from different political parties. It does not mean a thing what political party you belong to if little girls are not going to school in northern Kenya. Okay? That was by way of introducing the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Northern Development, P.S. Lenayapa, who is the person, the accounting officer, the man who makes things happen when the minister is doing his politics. This is the person who has already committed the first 8 million Kenya shillings that goes to the seed money to go to the secretariat to get this thing going. P.S. Lanayapa, karibu.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, the Ambassador. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Salam alaikum. We sound tired? I don't think we should. Ladies and gentlemen, let me start by thanking everybody here. Let me start by thanking our brothers and sisters from Kenya, Somalia, friends from Minnesota, USA, for this great evening. We are extremely delighted as a delegation. We came in on Tuesday. We had teams waiting for us. We had teams waiting for us at the airport. We were taken around Minnesota City. And Ambassador, let me confirm to you, if not because of Kazi, I would have opted to remain in Minnesota. But I have to go back because of government commitments. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you are great. Thank you very much for the wonderful reception. As Amina mentioned, immediately after the launch, the Honorable Minister had a discussion with the Ambassador, and I think His Excellency the Ambassador did recommend that the first state we should partner up with is the city of Minnesota. He did make this recommendation. I'm sure it's because of your generosity, because of your courtesy, and the wonderful, great ladies and gentlemen from the country of Kenya and Somalia. Asanteni sana, and thank you very much again. Ladies and gentlemen, let me give an assurance on one or two issues as a government representative here. One, the Board of Trustees, the people whom we have on this board are eminent Kenyans, very, very reputable Kenyans. We have, I think, 3 board members of the board here. We have more. We have, you must have heard of Ambassador Tekla Lorupe. Tekla Lorupe has been, she's a marathoner. I'm sure she ran in Chicago, she ran in many cities in America. We have Richard Leakey as a member of the board. Fatuma seated here is a media guru. She's been in the media world. She's been with the Nation Media. Abdulwahid, the lawyer, the great, don't look at his size. This is a great, great man. Abdulwahid, simama kidogo tafadhali. He did the registration, everything, out of his own accord. We did not pay him a single penny. The Board of Trustees here, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, paid for their tickets from Nairobi to Minnesota and their upkeep here in Minnesota. That's great sacrifice. I really want to thank the Board of Trustees. I want also to give an assurance that this is not a government project. His Excellency the Ambassador has made it very clear. We started it off. All what we are doing now is we are just accommodating the CEO meanwhile, maybe for another couple of months, and then we'll let him go. We have already put in about 100,000 US dollars for this financial year. Honorable Minister, we are likely to put in some more resources this financial year. We do have an ambitious program, to be very honest. 430, as Amina mentioned, is maybe a quarter of girls whom we want to assist. So we do have an ambitious program. And as Amina did mention also, after a couple of years, we also intend to bring the boys on board. The government of Kenya is giving free universal, free primary education. That is fully catered for by the government. So we have good number getting to the basic elementary, and then the fees are out in secondary school because of lack of fees. It is indeed saddening to hear for 15 years, not a single girl got an opportunity to go to the university. These are the inequalities, these are the challenges we intend to address. And believe me not, Honorable Joseph Lekuton said yesterday, the only person who will save Kenya, and I am from northern Kenya, I will say it, once the leadership of Kenya is taken by somebody from northern Kenya, Kenya will develop. With 80% of the landmass, if one of the sons and daughters takes over leadership, then rest assured that country will develop. So what we are doing as a trustee is to give an opportunity to this girl so that this girl can have an opportunity to participate in the leadership of this country. My brothers and sisters in the diaspora, please, you need to fully participate in what is happening in our country. We have new constitution, we have devolved system of governance now in our country. You should not just leave the management of the affairs. Work hard, but indeed also ensure that you keep yourself abreast of what is taking place in our country. Ladies and gentlemen, so very briefly, we are here to establish a strategic network with any organization, individuals who have a similar objective. So I really want to thank the people of Minnesota. You have given us the first opportunity, and Honorable Minister, I think they do deserve. Our first ambassadors for NoKET is the people of Minnesota. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We are extremely happy. If you get an opportunity to get to Nairobi, please get to our offices, get to our secretariat, and we'll always give an opportunity to see these beautiful girls. With these few remarks, let me take this opportunity to ask the honorable members of Parliament to make their remarks, and then we invite the Honorable Minister. Let me start with Honorable Sirat. Honorable Sirat, as introduced, is the Member of Parliament for Wajir South. Wajir South is in northern Kenya. This is his first term in Parliament. We did ask him to join us, and indeed he quickly accepted it, and we want to thank him for that commitment. And this demonstrates how serious also our members of Parliament are in supporting this program. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for Honorable Sirat. Honorable Sirat.
Good day, good people. Assalamu alaikum. Indeed, I'm glad to be here tonight. First of all, let me thank you for being here. Congratulations for being here. I'm delighted to be with this delegation because I come from northern Kenya. I represent the Speaker of the National Assembly. I represent the members of the National Assembly. As Ambassador said, this delegation is headed by the Minister for Northern Kenya. The Ambassador himself represents the government of Kenya. The trustees represent the people of Kenya. I represent the Parliament of Kenya. So this is a joint thing. If you see the Ambassador of the United States of America, then believe that this is a government initiative. If I may go with the peers for a while, then we'll leave this baby walk and fly by itself. Northern Kenya, the Minister of Northern Kenya, was born in 2008. First time since independence, we never had a ministry for Northern Kenya. The wisdom of the Prime Minister and the President of Kenya, Mwai Kibaki, when they have seen that the Northern Kenya is not developing in all ways, infrastructure, education, health, and etc., they decided to give us a ministry called Northern Kenya, under the capable hands of Honorable Ilmi, my colleague from Wajir. And he has steered and did well in this ministry. I hope and pray the next government, even though it will be a Selina government, I hope they will leave the Minister of Northern Kenya alone so that we can continue developing the region. As a result of being given this ministry, the Honorable Ilmi has done two good initiatives. One of them is NoKET. And were it not for this ministry and Honorable Ilmi, today we will not have been here. If we had no ministry, I'm sure this initiative of NoKET would not have been born as a result. There's also a noble initiative called Drought Management Authority. You know very well, whenever there is no rain, there's a lot of disaster and catastrophe in northern Kenya and other arid lands. Last year, you've seen the news, the televisions. It was very bad. And through the Honorable Member of Parliament for Wajir, Honorable Ilmi, he has initiated another noble idea, Drought Management Authority, whereby the government will be putting in money, about 2 billion shillings, and that authority will be able to run on its own without asking for support from the international world. This initiative is also supported by NGOs and the UN for that matter, through UNICEF, through Amina. So be rest assured that this is something that everybody is involved. I will therefore kindly ask you to donate generously. Thank you very much. Finally, let me ask you to pray for these young girls that we are going to educate to be good people and to be good mothers. Thank you.
My point is very simple. We as nomads The few educated nomads like Amina, like Elmi, like our sister there, all of us, like our peers here, all of us, we did not feel sorry for ourselves. We were like those two people who decided to think and save their lives. So NoKET is an example of that, of those two people who maybe were not very important in the community, but they decided to wake up and say, we're going to help our children, our girls who have no opportunity to go to school, we'll make them become people of substance and the leaders of tomorrow. So ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much. It was wonderful, and God bless you all.
The challenge that we are trying to address, I think Amina and others already gave the problem. On your right, on that cycle, is a study which was done recently. The ones on this side, on the right side, are the top 10 districts, and the ones on the left side are the ones, all of them are from northern Kenya. And what the study was doing was looking at children between age of 6 and 16 who can do class 2 work. The ones on the right are the 10 best, and all of them are none of them are from the northern Kenya. All the ones at the bottom 10 are all from pastoral areas. Next. Women in literacy. We've just picked 3 counties from northern Kenya. That's the national average, but you can see where they are. Very easy to see the percentage of literacy. And you know that illiterate mothers has a direct correlation with the performance of those children that we talked about. Next. I'll run through this quickly. Percentage of births supervised by skilled workers. Again, national average, look at then all those are counties from the north. Next. Okay, again, why, and we just gave you 3 slides on the challenges. Why? Chronic underdevelopment for a long time, high levels of poverty, and there used to be cost-sharing policy before even education, everything. Cultural challenges facing particularly girls, education system and policy that are unfriendly to the region and to those who are out of school, and again, because of the nomadic nature. And as a result, parents face significant opportunity costs in educating their children. Next. Why another trust? There are quite a number of trusts in Kenya. That's basically, this focuses on the unique needs of this region to build the human capital, and somebody has said it before, for the region's long-term development, promote coordination of sponsorship support. I think that's probably the most unique. We intend to make sure that there's a system of any other trust or any other individuals who want to really give scholarship, they can find the right children. Next. So far, I think Amin has explained this, 73 scholarships have been awarded to second, that's with the support of Imperial Bank. 180 already in Form 2 and to Form 4 with UNICEF support. You heard Amina talk about 206. This is a program that UNICEF has been doing with the Northeastern alone and not the whole. And those are the number who have gone in. Subsequently, about 7 of them have been helped to secure funding for university. Support students for mentoring, again, Amina has talked about that, and career guidance and student conferences. Addresses the underlying causes of marginalization in education. So in addition to actual sponsorship, they do policy advocacy. Continue. Next. And then this criteria, how did we arrive at these particular counties? They are the arid and pastoralist counties. That's why the 2 down counties on the bottom are pastoralist counties, where historically, again, the cultures are similar to the ones up there. High performing students from poor families, biased towards girls, particularly initially because of the gender disparities that exist. Focus on tertiary and university. So we started with secondary. We want to add the tertiary and university education to deliver skilled professionals for the region. Next, what NoKET plans to achieve: more skilled professionals for the region, wide range of livelihood options in drought-prone area. While education is good everywhere in the world, and we say education is the biggest equalizer of all between rich and poor, in this particular area, region, because it's drought-prone, more people need to get out of that system to allow for that system to be used. Critical mass of women graduates. We believe when Turkana has over 1,000 graduates, the social fabric, the marginalization of women, the way business is done, it will completely change. Strong integration with the rest of the country. Again, inequality is what brings down countries. The other one is trusted mechanism for harmonizing, targeting, and monitoring bursaries, which ensures accountability to the poor. What I was saying earlier, that even with a number of schemes existing, poor children still fall through the crack. So really coming up with a system that everybody trusts and people can do. Motivation and competition for scholarship is one of the things we want to achieve. Governance and accountability, current status and independent trust with a memorandum of understanding with the government. What the representative of the Permanent Secretary of Education did not say is Ministry of Education reserves those best schools so that when the girls pass in those areas, they automatically are assured of the top schools in the country. Then we have the structure, a full board that you'll find in the list of that brochure, and 7 managing trustees, and a full-time coordinator. You can stand. I don't think we have introduced you. Patrick, yes. All the board members are eminent people, and they are volunteering both their time and their money. So they contribute, and as is evidenced by people paying for the ticket and coming here. Administration, only a small proportion of the income of the funds will be used for operating costs. And we're seeking for grants for the Secretariat. We'll be writing proposals to organizations. Next, so far, these are the partnership we've built. That is UNICEF, Imperial Bank, Ministry of Education, my ministry, Africa Laughter. They manage the website. Sagana Brick, that the law firm that Brick comes from. NoKET USA, I think that's why you know them. And all trustees for steering the NoKET thus far. On 3rd this month, we had a meeting where we brought the supporters together because 28th of this month, we are going to have a big function. Either the President or the Prime Minister will be fundraising for it. So we were planning, and quite a number of those are our members of Parliament sitting in the front and some at the back, and a lot of other supporters. Some of the other trustees are also there. Next, I think, what are we really looking for? Why are we here? We're looking for partnership. How can you help? Financial support. Our target is to raise 1 billion Kenya shilling. That is about what? 1 billion Kenya shilling. I'm looking for US, how many? 800? Huh? 14 million dollars. That's very little, right? So that it is a revolving fund. So that it can take care of it. It's like an endowment. We are looking for also non-funding support. People to work with us to improve the quality of education. Mentor girls, you can do it even through internet. There's many ways to do it. So we're looking for more long-term relationship. We're looking for long-term sponsorships, small amounts. I used to work for an organization called Oxfam, the British charity, and they had £1.5 million at one point, which donated between £2 and £7 a month through a check-off system. And he gave that organization big flexibility to do quite a lot. So small amounts are very important. Social media, follow us on Facebook and Twitter at NoKET Kenya. I think that's our message. And thank you very much on behalf of, I think, my group. Just let's next. I think examples, Amina talked about $1,000. That is the top schools. That's the highest, they will be asking for. To train a teacher, 1,750. That's for the tertiary. And that's for the whole course. 7,500 covers tuition for 4-year degree course, any degree course. 30,000 trains a doctor complete until they finish, 6 years. And those are the next. Amina already said what the girls said. These are just, that change is possible. And this is some of the things that the girls that Amina talked about said. So thank you very much for coming. And we look to Minnesota was our first diaspora reach out. And I think no other place will catch up. Bush was talking about, where was it? Texas. We'll see. But Minnesota so far holds the flag. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Siad. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. I think, I know I risk repeating, and people have sat for a long time. There is the saying that people, you must be actionable. Don't talk too much. What is required now is our generous donation. Your Excellency, our Ambassador, at my age, I have traveled and traveled many places in this world. But never have I felt so much at home in this city in my life because of your reception, hospitality, and we want to thank you and the whole diaspora, friends of NoKET, for welcoming us. Ladies and gentlemen, he who wears the shoes knows where it pitches. I've been a teacher for many years, and I have seen girls that drop by the side, not because of anything, but because of perhaps the environment. The girls are already disadvantaged. And I want to remind you of the old saying, I'm sure you all know this, that when you educate a boy, you are educating an individual. But you educate a girl, you are educating a whole community. The beauty is that we have very strong ladies also on the board of trustees. And these girls have a lot of motivation. When they see Amina, when they see Fatuma and others, then they have something to aspire to. Some of you may ask, is it automatic that you come from this northern Kenya, therefore you are a girl, you get it? No. The girls must be mentored. There must be clear criteria. And we are following them, and we are saying, it's not enough to be a girl to get this help, because this money is coming from friends, from people who also have sacrificed. So in the first place, you must be disciplined, you must be God-fearing, you must produce results like the one in Alliance. And just imagine, within the first term, this is an A material. So those are some of the criteria that we follow. And I want to thank Siad and his committee, all the friends of NoKET, for really working so hard. Because this is the first stop. We have not even done it at home yet. I know the minister has plans. But I think this is a clear indication that you are the first and that you would really occupy a special place in NoKET so that when we finally raise funds or conclude, then we can say Minnesota was #1. Thank you. If we don't do this, we have just the other day promulgated our new constitution. And the constitution says, for every representation, employment, everything, some of you will say, why 30%? At least we said, you must have 30%. So if we don't take care of these girls, if we don't encourage them, who will occupy these 30%? Ladies and gentlemen, mel ho ubahan hadal umubahan zaid baleri. So I want to say, donate generously so that you can really touch the life of a girl in northern Kenya. God bless you. Our minister, just by a coincidence, he's the minister for northern Kenya, but these are ideas that he has had. And I want to repeat what Amina said. We will account for every penny. People say, it's not a problem getting help, but will you account for that money? I want to tell you what Abdul Wahid, the lawyer, said. He said, for any misuse, he is giving free service to prosecute. We have a High Court judge who says, you tamper with this money, you go in for life sentence or 10 years. So, whatever contribution is in safe hands, and I want to assure you that we will be held accountable. Amina told you 97% must go to the girl child. It's only 3%. Actually, Amina is even more mean. She sometimes says 3% is even perhaps on the higher side. Can you do it 2 or something? So we want to give you that assurance. It is purely private. The fact that the minister and the permanent secretary are also interested is, I think, just because they came up with the idea. But in terms of administration, and when we sit with them in the board, we say, wait a minute, for accountability, we be held responsible, and I don't want Birek or Abdul Wahid to prosecute me. God bless you, and thank you for giving us this opportunity.